Eat, sleep, bet, repeat. That's the way we get down here on the opening line. This is Benny Ricciardi with EliteSportsBetting.com, and I'm going to be bringing you some NBA props today that you guys can take advantage of. If you guys don't know where you can go get down on it, I mean, obviously, whatever your local sports book is, if you live in one of those places where you're allowed to bet. If not, definitely go check out monkeyknifefight.com. MKF is a site that we kind of partner with. I really like the concept of what they do because it's a lot more along the lines of sports betting fantasy than it is, the typical fantasy where you're putting in a salary and competing against all these optimizers and a whole bunch of other people. What they basically do on Monkey Knife Fight is they give you two different guys and they say who's going to score more points or who's going to get more rebounds between these two guys. And you can use a lot of the same information that we have in the optimizer and the articles here in order to go and play over there as well. I feel like it's an easier way for people to make a big score on their money that they have without having to put together, a massive lineup. Now, again, some of you like that. I am one of those people. That's why I still work on the fantasy side as well. But a lot of our sports betting side people are looking for something a little bit easier, a little more straightforward, a little more sports betting, a little less fantasy. monkeyknifefight.com is definitely the one. If you go over there, you sign up, you use promo code ELITE, you'll be able to get in there and get a little bit of a discount on your deposit as well. And then we have stuff on the site every day. Kevin Adams does a really good job with the Monkey Knife Fight stuff. A bunch of our other contributors contribute stuff over there as well for different sports whenever things pop up. So definitely make sure you get over there and check that out. Today, I'm going to give you some of these props, whether you're on the sports betting side or whether you're on the Monkey Knife site, the Monkey Knife Fight side. We're going to talk about some of the props today that are kind of standing out to me in the NBA. So let's get started right at the top. Couple games that I'm looking at. One of the games that's going to be probably highly used today in fantasy and also something a lot of people should be looking at if you're looking to get some overs on some of these props is the Lakers game. Lakers have a massive total today. I think their team total is like 123 going up against the Washington Wizards who have like a 112, 113 team total of their own. This is going to be a very fast-paced game. The Lakers are actually paced up by the Wizards here. So they're projected for 11 points over total, and their pace bump is plus 4.4. So I use the ESPN Hollinger numbers for that. They're one of the best when you're trying to look for pace numbers in the NBA. Plus 4.4 is a pretty significant bump right there. So the Lakers are in a good spot for outperformance. When you look at the guys in the Lakers who are going to outperform, you want to look at the guys that are high usage. So two of them that pop off the page are Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So those were two guys whose props I looked very deeply into today. The number that I like the most here is actually LeBron James over 10.5 assists. It's paying minus 110. So in 12 of the last 14 games, LeBron has had double-digit assists. 11 of the last 14 games, he's gone over 10.5 assists. So that would pay off what they're looking for today. We mentioned that this is a game that's going to be paced up. It's a game where they're expected to score 11 more points. So more pace means more possessions. More points means more chances for assists. LeBron being the guy who's been racking them up anyway, it's somebody that's good to look at here. Now, he's basically a lock for double-digit fantasy points. And, judging by these numbers that we just talked about, 12 of the last 14 games with double-digit assists, 11 of the last 14 he's been over 10.5 assists. So there's only one of those games where he barely got to 10. The rest of these games, he's been clearing that number pretty easily, 11, 12, 14, 16 assists. So I like the minus 110 there. He's a lock to score at least 10 points. He's done that in every game this year. He's only had 5 games where he's got double-digit assists double-digit rebounds of the 18 games that they played this year. But he's had 5 triple-doubles because he's been basically getting the assist and points every game. You're getting a plus 350 on LeBron James triple-double today. In a game where we're expecting the pace to be higher, probably going to be a lot more missed shots on both sides, this could be one of those games where he also gets the triple-double. So I really like the over 10.5 assists for minus 110. And if you want to sprinkle a little bit on LeBron James triple-double prop at plus 350, I don't really mind that one either. Let's see. Another one that I'm really looking at here. Malcolm Brogdon came back from being injured 2 games ago. Brogdon had a really hot start to the year before he started cooling down, before he went out on injury. So I think a couple of those last games before the injury, he wasn't playing like 100%. So we didn't really get the best out of Malcolm Brogdon in those games. His prop today, over 7.5 assists, is paying plus 108. So he came back from the injured list 2 games ago, and in both of those games, he had 8 assists. So he would be over the 7.5 we're expecting from him today. And that was with him playing less minutes than usual because he was coming right off of the injury. Now, I don't know if the minutes are going to get any higher today, but at the very least, we can expect him to play the 30 that he saw. And in the last 2 games, he had 8 assists, so over 7.5, even in just those 30 minutes. And the last game they played was against the Utah Jazz, who are one of the best defensive teams in the league. So if you're able to put it up in a lower scoring game against the Utah Jazz, you should be able to do it in a better spot today. And they have a very good spot today. Another one of the best spots on the board here. They play the Atlanta Hawks. They're slated for 8.5 points over their projected average. And the pace number in that game is a plus 3.9. So you're getting Malcolm Brogdon, who may be in line for increased minutes here, in a really, really good game situation. And on top of the fact that he's already been over the number they're asking us for in the last 2 games. And they're paying us plus money to take this. It's plus 108 for 7.5 assists right now. Like I said, he had 8 each of the last 2 games playing just 30 minutes. The one game was against Memphis, which is a good matchup. The other game was against Utah, which is not a good matchup. Today he gets another really, really good matchup against the Atlanta Hawks. So that's going to be a spot where I'm looking for outperformance. Malcolm Brogdon over 7.5 assists for plus 108. Something else I'm going to be putting some money on today. Couple other ones I'm looking at here. We got Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin scored 26 points last time out. His over-under for today on points is 21.5 at minus 105, which is pretty good value right there. He's only been playing about 30 minutes since coming back from injury. Last year, he played more like 35. So there's definitely room for him to play more. I don't know if they're going to start doing it here today. I do like the fact that the Pistons are also expected to score 3.5 more points than their seasonal average today. So you can look for a little outperformance. You do have the minutes kind of trending up, although not up to the 35 I want to see, but, trending in the right direction. So that's good there. Again, he had 26 against this exact same opponent the last time these 2 teams played, which was literally the last game right before Thanksgiving. So I do think Blake Griffin is in line to get over that 21.5 points. So minus 105, you're not asking me to give too much away in juice. I'll probably put a little bit on that one tonight as well. And then the last one I'm looking at is actually Hassan Whiteside. Hassan Whiteside, 12.5 rebounds is paying plus 110. 13.5 points is playing minus 120. So he's been right around these 12, 13 points the last couple games. So I think there's a little bit of risk there. And I don't want to lay money at minus 120 in order to do that. The last 3 games for him, he only took 7, 8, and 13 shots. Now, again, Hassan Whiteside shots tend to be right around the basket. We only really need 13.5, so we're looking at 14 points out of him. But, 7 and 8 shots, he basically has to make every one of the shots that he takes in order to get there. And while he does shoot a high percentage, he's not making every single shot. So I'm a little worried about the points there. Do I want to go under? Not really, but I don't feel like laying money at minus 120 to go over. Now, in the last 3 games, though, he's had 16, 12, and 14 rebounds. And today he draws the Chicago Bulls team that has a weak interior defense and has for a number of years here. So the rebounds could actually be up for him today, on top of the fact that he's already basically been playing around or over this number in his last 3 games anyway. The 12.5 rebound over is paying us plus 110 today. I like taking plus money on something that has a really, better than a 50% chance of happening. And I think that's what this is here today. So Hassan Whiteside, 12.5 rebound over at plus 112. Now, remember, you could play all these by yourself on any one of these, sports betting sites. Or if you guys want to go over to monkeyknifefight.com, use fantasy code ELITE. You could play them over there in more of like a fantasy type setting, where you can kind of limit your risk a little bit and still come away with, basically the same kind of money, if not better. They have a couple of these where, you pick 2 or 3 props the right way and they pay you 2 times your money or 5 times your money. So some of those are a good way to get a little bit of upside out of this as well. Remember, we give you guys a lot of information here on both the fantasy side and on the sports betting side. And they kind of intertwine. You can use both of them. You can use some of the sports betting information to make better fantasy teams. You can use a lot of the fantasy information to make, better, smarter, more plus EV sports bets as well. And that's what I try to do when I bring these to you in these videos here, like this NBA one here today. Remember, it is a Black Friday sale going on over at EliteSportsBetting.com. Any one of the Elite packages that you want to get, sports betting side, season-long fantasy over at Fantasy Guru, or any of the daily stuff that we do at Elite Fantasy. If you use the promo code BLACK30, or if you even want to re-up for next month on your sports betting, use the promo code BLACK30. You get a 30% discount on it today. We just want to be able to give a little bit back to the the people who have supported us and helped us build this company into what it is. So once again, for EliteSportsBetting.com, This has been Benny Ricciardi. Good luck. Go make some money.